Aviation's forbidden number, row 13 mystery. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever seen row 13 on the flights you've taken? No, because the aviation industry has systematically eliminated this number. The reason isn't just superstition. The real reason is much more sinister and terrifying. What I'm about to reveal will change how you think about airline psychology, passenger manipulation, and the hidden fears that drive billion-dollar decisions in aviation. This isn't just about avoiding bad luck. This is about an industry-wide conspiracy of silence around passenger death anxiety. The missing row 13 represents something far darker than mere superstition. It's evidence of how airlines manipulate passenger psychology while hiding disturbing patterns they'd rather you never discover. The global elimination. Walk on any major airline aircraft and count the seat rows. You'll go from row 12 directly to row 14, as if row 13 never existed. This isn't an accident or oversight. It's a calculated decision implemented across virtually every major airline worldwide. The scale of avoidance. American Airlines. No row 13 on any aircraft in their 900-plus plane fleet. United Airlines. Systematically skips from row 12 to row 14. Delta Airlines. Uses the same elimination pattern across all aircraft types. Lufthansa, despite German efficiency culture, still avoids row 13. British Airways. Even the rational British skip the forbidden number. The consistency is disturbing. Airlines that can't agree on seat width, baggage policies, or safety procedures all unanimously agree that row 13 must not exist. The passenger psychology experiment. Airlines claim they skip row 13 because passengers avoid these seats, reducing booking efficiency. But this explanation raises darker questions. Why would passengers instinctively avoid row 13 if it's just a number? The booking data. Internal airline reservation systems reveal disturbing patterns. When airlines accidentally included row 13 in their booking systems, these seats showed 35% lower booking rates than adjacent rows. Higher cancellation rates when passengers realized their row number. Increased requests for seat changes after boarding. Measurably higher passenger anxiety levels during flight. The data suggests passengers have a subconscious association between row 13 and danger that goes beyond simple superstition. The triskaidekaphobia epidemic. Triskaidekaphobia, fear of the number 13, affects an estimated 20 million Americans. But in aviation, this fear becomes amplified into something much more powerful and primal. The psychological amplification. Flying already triggers deep-seated fears about death and loss of control. When combined with cultural superstitions about 13, passengers experience what psychologists call compound anxiety, multiple fear responses that reinforce each other. Airlines discovered that even passengers who don't consider themselves superstitious exhibited measurable stress responses when assigned to row 13. Heart rate monitors, cortisol levels, and behavioral observation all confirmed this psychological impact. The hidden incidents. While airlines publicly claim the row 13 elimination is purely about passenger comfort, internal reports suggest more disturbing motivations. Industry insiders report unusual incident patterns that airlines prefer to keep buried. The unexplained correlations. Medical emergencies. Higher rates of passenger medical incidents in row 13 across multiple airlines. Turbulence injuries. Disproportionate injury reports from row 13 during severe weather events. Mechanical failures. Unusual frequency of seat mechanism failures, specifically in row 13. Passenger altercations. Increased reports of air rage incidents involving row 13 passengers. Airlines dismiss these patterns as statistical noise, but the consistency across different carriers suggests something more systematic. The cultural conspiracy. The elimination of row 13 isn't limited to Western airlines. Even carriers from cultures without traditional Western superstitions about 13 have adopted the same practice. Global adoption patterns. Asian airlines skip row 13 despite different cultural number superstitions. Middle Eastern carriers Eliminate row 13 while keeping other culturally sensitive numbers. African Airlines. Adopt Western row numbering patterns, including 13 elimination. South American carriers. Follow the same mysterious pattern. This suggests the aviation industry has imposed a global standard based on Western superstitions, regardless of local cultural beliefs. The economic motivation. Airlines operate on razor-thin profit margins where every seat matters. The decision to permanently eliminate an entire row from revenue calculations represents millions in lost income annually. Why would profit-driven companies make this choice? The financial impact. A typical narrow-body aircraft loses 6 seats by eliminating row 13. Across a fleet of 200 aircraft, that's 1,200 seats. With average ticket prices of $300, that represents $360,000 in lost revenue per flight cycle. For major airlines, the annual cost of avoiding row 13 exceeds $50 million. This massive financial sacrifice suggests airlines have compelling reasons beyond passenger comfort. The crew superstitions, flight attendants, and pilots, the aviation professionals who understand aircraft safety better than anyone, exhibit their own concerning behaviors around row 13. Professional avoidance. Flight attendants report feeling uncomfortable serving row 13 when it exists. Pilots request specific aircraft without row 13 configurations for important flights. Maintenance crews perform additional inspections on aircraft with row 13 seating. Aviation insurance companies offer slight premium discounts for aircraft without row 13. Even people who understand the technical aspects of flight safety can't shake the psychological impact of the forbidden number. The international variations. While most airlines eliminate row 13 entirely, some use creative alternatives that reveal the depth of the psychological manipulation. Alternative strategies. Row 12A. Some airlines insert a row 12A between 12 and 14. Row 14. Double numbering that goes 12, 14, 14A. Letter substitution. Using 12, 12 plus, 14 progression. Complete renumbering. Starting gate rows at different numbers to avoid 13. These elaborate workarounds demonstrate how desperately airlines want to avoid any association with the number 13. The passenger manipulation. The row 13 elimination represents a broader pattern of psychological manipulation that airlines use to control passenger behavior and emotions. The broader control. Airlines use color psychology, lighting manipulation, announcement timing, and spatial design to influence passenger mood and compliance. The row 13 elimination is just the most visible example of how airlines shape passenger psychology for operational benefit. By eliminating row 13, airlines aren't just avoiding superstition. They're demonstrating their power to reshape reality according to passenger fears, even when those fears are irrational. The uncomfortable truth. The most disturbing aspect of the row 13 elimination isn't the superstition itself. It's what it reveals about airline attitudes toward passenger psychology and death anxiety. Airlines have essentially admitted that passenger fear of death is so powerful that it's more profitable to lose millions in revenue than to confront those fears directly. They've chosen to eliminate the problem rather than address the underlying anxiety about aviation safety. Every time you board an aircraft and notice the jump from row 12 to row 14, you're witnessing evidence of an industry that profits from passenger fear while pretending to protect passenger comfort. The missing row 13 isn't about avoiding bad luck. It's about airlines acknowledging that passenger death anxiety is so profitable to manipulate that it's worth eliminating entire revenue streams to maintain the illusion of control. The next time you're settling into your seat and notice there's no row 13, remember that you're not just avoiding superstition. You're participating in a global psychological experiment designed to make you feel safer while keeping you afraid enough to accept any safety theater airlines choose to provide. Row 13 doesn't exist because airlines have decided that your fear is more valuable than their revenue. And that should terrify you more than any superstition about numbers ever could.